So this winter around New Year's, I went to attend a Vipassana Meditation Center. I was there for 10 days. It was a 10-day course. It was run from 27th of December to the 7th of January, and I am very fortunate and glad that I went and did the course. I don't know if it was successful or not, but I learned a lot. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what the technique is, what you're required to do, and some of my experiences and learnings. What exactly is Vipassana? So Vipassana is a meditation technique taught by Buddha thousands of years ago. It is again not a religious practice. It is just a technique of meditation. This meditation technique focuses on breath work, on being present in the moment, and whatever any meditation is supposed to achieve. So initially, for the first time, I think I heard it from a stranger who said that he had a very bad breakup, and this meditation for 10 days in silence helped him a lot. So, and then another of my friend went in India, and then last year I met another friend who said she went for Vipassana in Thailand. So I got really curious about this technique where you are meditating in silence for 10 days straight, 12 hours a day. Of course, it was curiosity that is why I went there, to see for myself. I've heard from people, I've looked it up on the internet what it was, so I got really curious. And to be honest, I really want to take care of my mental health along with my physical health, and I think this sounded very enticing to me, where you are in silence for 10 days straight, where you're not using your phone, and complete surrendering to the process. I think that's what made me curious, to be honest. And I just did my registrations in August. It's quite not competitive as such, but it's the slots get filled very soon. So I had to book my slots in August for December. So the center that I went to is in Massachusetts, in Shelburn Falls. It's a place called Shelburn Falls, and apparently this is the first center outside of India which was established by Goenka, who is the founder of these centers across the world. So that is why another thing that I wanted to check out is this center itself. The facilities were amazing, and of course it is a free course, and people, the teachers, the volunteers, the servers, everybody volunteers to do the work. Hence the services, or the meditation 10-day course itself, the fooding, lodging, everything is free. So anyone is welcome there, despite of gender, religion, caste, grade, sexual orientation. Nothing matters, but just your surrender to the technique, and if you're willing to work on yourself in those 10 days. Of course, I was really worried about, for those 5-6 months, I was worried about how I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and sit for 10 to 12 hours a day in the same posture. So I think for a few months prior to my meditation date, I started sort of training my circadian rhythm so that I could wake up a little early. Of course, I did not wake up every day at 4 prior to that, for obvious reasons, but I still try to wake up early, have my dinner early the previous evening, and also try to sit still in this posture for not long hours, but for some time. I think I started with 5 minutes, and then the next day I pushed for 10 minutes. And while practicing, I could sit still for about half an hour without twitching, without doing anything. But in the meditation center, we were required to sit for about an hour max, without moving or without getting up and stuff like that. So I started training my body to sit still, and also wake up early, just so that I don't have a lot of difficulty when I actually get to the center. I mean, this is not necessary for everyone, but this was just something that I did personally to adjust smoothly when the meditation course starts. So there are a lot of websites. Vipassana, the Dhamma organization itself, has a lot of their information online, from their schedule to their routines to their rules and regulations, and what you are required to do and what you're not required to do, sort of the do's and don'ts of when you are within the center. There are a lot of centers across the world, I just checked. So most countries, not most countries, but many countries have these centers. So if you are, there are of course a couple centers in the United States, there are a couple of centers, of course, in India. So let me just quickly talk about the schedule of the day. So we are supposed to wake up at 4 o'clock. There will be a bell of some sort that should wake you up. They also provided us with personal alarm clocks if anybody needed, but sometimes you're also asked to get your own personal alarm clocks in case you're a heavy sleeper. So 4 o'clock you wake up, 4:30 you're supposed to be meditating in the meditation hall, and till 6:30 to 8 is your breakfast time and relaxation time, and then 8 onwards again you're sitting for meditation. 11 o'clock you have your lunch, then you have some free time that you can walk around, or the center that I went to in Shelburn Falls, it had a walking space. There was also a hill behind it, so we took time to walk there. I used to always walk for 20 minutes to half an hour, and then I used to come back and just like rest my back, because like sitting like this for so many hours is very much painful. So I used to come back and then just lie down on the bed. Sometimes I did take a nap. Again, it's not advisable, but I mean, I did sometimes take a nap. And then from 1 o'clock you are meditating again. You keep meditating. There are also these compulsory group meditations where you are required to be just in the hall and nowhere else. And then at 5 o'clock it was tea time. So new students, I was a new student this time, it was my first time, so new students get tea and fruits, and old students are served just tea. There is no dinner. So after tea from 5 to 6, you are required to meditate again. You're supposed to go to the hall to meditate. From 6 to 7, again the compulsory meditation for an hour, and then you get a break, and then from about 7:15 to 7:20 you have your evening discourse. So evening discourses are pre-recorded videos by Goenka himself, where he talks about each day, and he talks about the techniques that we use. He talks about the practical usage of the techniques, why we do it. He's really funny and charming, and he tells a lot of stories. So that 1 hour or 1.5 hour is quite entertaining. I mean, everybody used to look forward to it. And then from 8:30 to 9 we have another meditation sitting, and then at 9 you're supposed to go back to your rooms. I used to go back and then take a shower and do my stuff and then go to bed. And of course the prerequisite is that you submit your valuables in phones, so you have no connection to the outside world. And if in case there is an emergency, your friends and family can reach out to the center through email or via direct phone. So it's not like that you'll miss out on, if there is an emergency, you'll miss out on that. And of course another biggest, I think, struggle for people is that you're not supposed to talk. So I did not speak for those 10 days. There are teachers there who ask you how you're doing and if you are getting the technique correctly. There are also assistant teachers to help you around if you have any questions. So it's not like that you cannot ask questions when questions arise. It's not a dictatorship, but you're required to maintain noble silence, so that you don't disturb your own peace, and so that you also do not disrupt anybody else's peace and their process. So this is what is required strictly. the routine and no talking, no cell phone, and no reading, no writing. Basically, you're not supposed to have any external stimuli. It's all supposed to be in your head. You're not supposed to even write down anything or read. For some reason, during these days, I was not sleeping well. The first day I was really super tired from all the travel and stuff, so I slept well, but I started noticing that I used to sleep late, and I had very disturbed sleep, even if it was light sleep. And then I think right before 4 o'clock, I used to sort of fall asleep, but then the bell used to go and I had to wake up at 4. So for some reason, I was not sleeping well at all, even if the whole day was so, even if not physically, but mentally it was extremely exhausting. But later, Goenka himself explains that some people can have varied sleep. So some people did sleep well, some people maybe did not. Now that I'm back to my normal life, I am sleeping properly again. I don't know why it happened, but thankfully I felt good that at least I was not an odd one out. There were a lot of people who had this experience. So the teachings of Vipassana and Goenka seemed really practical to me. Of course, now that I'm out of the center, I'm expected or required to meditate 2 hours every day, 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening. To be honest, I'm embarrassed, but I have not been able to keep up with it. But I make sure that I at least meditate for half an hour, if not for 2 hours each day, just to keep the momentum going. The practical teachings of Vipassana felt really meaningful for me, because when you are observing your breath, when you're working in your mind, in your head, of course, I noticed that my mind was wandering all the time, even if I was still and there in Massachusetts, my mind was all the time elsewhere, all around the world. So the teachings of Vipassana, I think for me personally, I feel that it teaches you how to be present in the moment and take days one day at a time. I think sometimes I can my mind can be rushing anywhere but not be in the moment, be present. So I guess I want to keep practicing Vipassana in my day-to-day life and also practically implement those things in my real life, where I learn to live in the present. And of course, meditation has so many benefits, physically, mentally. So I would love to see the results one day. Another thing that I learned is that not only should we be present in the moment and live in the moment, but we also should not dwell on emotions for long, because that's what increases human misery. I think that's what I got from these 10 days of learning. So even if you are sad, don't be too sad. Don't think that you'll never come out of it. It will pass. And likewise, even if you're happy, don't be super happy, because that too again will pass. So everything in life keeps changing and everything is transitory. That's what I learned from Vipassana. And I think if I can, again, in a very intellectual level, I know that nothing lasts forever, change is the only constant and stuff like that, but it's very difficult for us to sometimes actually implement those things when life falls apart or something happens in our lives. So I guess that's one thing that I would not only want to learn but also implement it in my real life. I think it will make my life a lot easier. Another thing is about acceptance of reality for what it is and not what we want it to be, perceived reality, for example. So I think those things are again like really simple, and really again I do understand those things in the very surface and intellectual level, but I guess to implement it in my real life, in my day-to-day life, I need to practice meditation. I need to practice Vipassana for long, forever actually, and it's a learning process. It's a daily practice where you show up for yourself because you want to better your life, you want to better your mental health. So these are some of the things that I learned from Vipassana, from sitting for 10 to 12 hours a day in one position while my mind wandered all over the world. Of course, it's very difficult, especially for a first timer. It was quite difficult for me. I am anyways I am an overthinker who does deal with a lot of mental health issues. So I would say that if anybody wants to explore these, of course it seems daunting. I think for people of our generation, especially, like no phone, no talking. I think no phone especially will be the most hardest thing to do. And I think also I feel being a student gives me that liberty of time, luxury of time actually. Not everybody can just pack up their bags and run off for 10 to 12 days without no contact to the outside world. I think it's not very practical for a lot of people, but since I do have, thankfully I had my winter break for those 2 weeks, so I could go off. So will I do this again? Absolutely. I want to go back to the center, to any center anywhere in the world again. Of course, I met a lot of people who have come for their 4th time, for their 5th time. I also want to volunteer to be a server there. They also have short courses for 3 days or so. Again, those fill up really quick. Now that I'm an old student, I can apply to be a server, so I'm excited for that prospect. There are also online regular sittings that happens for old students again, not for new students. So I should be actually keeping up with it. But yeah, this thing I liked about the system, the entire system, is that of course it's free. It's for the purpose of helping people and not for making money or for profiting off of it. So everyone there volunteers to work, to teach, and even at the end we had instructions to clean our room, to clean our bathrooms. The resources were plentiful and available. Then people also could volunteer to clean the hallway, to clean the common areas and stuff like that. So I did volunteer to mop the dining area at the end. So, and within an hour or so of the course getting over, the place looked clean as ever, because there was another batch who was coming in within 2 days, so we needed to clear up the space, clean it, and make it available for the next batch. I found the system really beautiful, how it works, the values that it teaches, and I guess I hope to continue living my life with at least some of the principles that were taught there. I want to help people for the sake of helping people. I want to love for the sake of loving. I think, of course, it's so many years, thousands of years of conditioning, so it's not super easy. I think some of the things to just implement in our real lives immediately, but I hope that one day I reach a stage where I'm loving unconditionally, where I'm helping people unconditionally, without expecting anything in return, and also being present in the moment and not brooding over something that I cannot change or that's not in my control, because the focus of all my problems is not, again, external. I think another thing that I learned is that I need to look within to solve the problems and not look for solutions outside. Again, these things are developing, and even these teachings in theory, in the intellectual level, in the surface level, I think even I'm learning it about it every day, and I hope to learn about it continuously and grow. So if anybody who wants to look after their mental health and wants to better their mental health and their lives, Vipassana is a great starter. Of course, there are two things. I mean, while meditating there, I was thinking that there, I think, two groups of people who should reconsider or might not want to go. Is the first category is that if you're suffering from severe mental health issues and severe physical health issues, then maybe 10 days at a stretch might not be a very good idea. The second group of people is people who are religious extremists, because I think there are some ideas for at least 10 days you are required to not practice your religious rituals. You're not required to do anything religious, of any religion for that matter. So if you're a person who is who cannot do that, maybe you might find it a little difficult, because the practice requires you to completely surrender for it to work and for it to help you. So yeah, that's what my personal take is. But apart from that, yeah, that's all I had to say. And if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comment section below. And there's tons of information available online in Google, anywhere, even in their official websites. So yeah, I hope you find peace, and I hope if you ever get an opportunity to go to for a 10-day course, I'm rooting for you, and I am recommending it to all my friends and family. So that'll be a very beautiful, a difficult but a beautiful experience for you.